please.
So first things first, I always use the sandwich method. No, I don't put it into a sandwich. I sandwich it in between clothes inside of a packing cube. And another thing I do is we usually bring 2 carry-on bags. I will have one rolling, and then TK will have one that's a backpack. And in the suitcase or whatever bag that I'm putting the dips into, I'll make sure there is literally nothing else but clothing in that bag, so that if we were to get pulled over and searched, they would quickly open the bag and see that it was just clothes.
Needle in a haystack, ladies and gentlemen. Play your odds. Welcome to the diaper gambling airport run. Yes. You never know what's going to happen.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dream a Little, the podcast that's all about helping you feel confident about age play so that you can enjoy it with your significant other. I'm your host, Lo, and you just heard a little clip from my brand new podcast series, Dream a Little Bigger, co-hosted with my fiance, TK. It's exclusively on Patreon, and you can tune in by going to patreon.com/dreamalittle. We have a lot of fun on the show there, so if you want to learn more about our relationship and our ABDL dynamic, be sure to check it out. I swear, I meet the coolest people through Patreon, and I'm so excited to announce that we've got some new members this week. So big shout out to Brooke, Cameron, Brennan, Sammy, and Snow. You guys are amazing, and I love you so much. You know, I get to send a welcome message to everyone who joins, and I just love getting to know all of you and your stories. In fact, that's how I met today's guest, Leif. And I think when we're talking about opening up about ABDL, we usually hear about all the failures and everything that went terribly wrong. But today we're going to be covering all the things that can go right for a change of pace. So if you listen to this episode and you're still feeling like you've got some self-doubt when it comes to opening up about your ABDL side, don't worry, I've got you. I know talking about this stuff isn't easy because we have a lot of overwhelming feelings of shame attached to being ABDL, and that's why I want you to stop what you're doing, pause this podcast, and go download my free audio training, How to Accept Your ABDL Side. You can do that by going to the show notes of this podcast at thelittlelounge.com/131. That's thelittlelounge.com/131. I can't wait to see you there. Before we dive in, I just wanted to get started with a quick listener spotlight from Werewolf is Me, who left a review on iTunes that says, I binged on 20 episodes in preparation for an ABDL discussion and play party I'm hosting this weekend in St. Louis. I got so inspired listening to Lo's soothing voice and tips. So many kinky colors of the rainbow. Creative sex is the best. I'm submissive and have a daddy, so I could relate to so much of it. The interviews are great. Wow, thank you so much for this kind review, Wolf. I can't believe you binged on 20 episodes. That's pretty impressive. And I'm glad you didn't get too annoyed with me. And I hope that your event in St. Louis went well. And I totally agree. Creative sex is the greatest. And I hope you guys know that I read every single review you leave for me. And it just means the world to me. So thanks again. If you want your review read on next week's podcast, just leave a review on iTunes. Honestly, you guys rock. All right, I won't make you wait any longer. Let's get started. What's up, Leif? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Lo. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm really excited to get to know you better. I love talking to people in the community.
Me too. It's nice meeting. There's a lot of great people out there, and meeting more and more every day is a very welcome thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you identify as within the community? Are you more of an AB or DL?
It's kind of been a gradual progression. I guess I would consider myself a DL with a little bit of AB, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totally. So how long have you been into this?
Oh, ever since I can remember, like 3 years old. I've always was attracted to diapers, and it's been with me ever since. And like a lot of us, you go through that shame period where you think you're the only person in the world and you can't accept yourself for it. And you kind of hide it away for long periods of time, and then it resurfaces, and then you revisit it, and then you hide it away. And that was pretty much me growing up in a nutshell.
Yeah, I know. So you're one of the lifers too.
Yeah, exactly. It
it's
just
basically
never went away.
Yeah, it's like a sexual identity almost.
Yeah, and like prior to puberty, it wasn't sexual, and then after that, it kind of progressed into that. Like it's very weird.
Yeah,
just the transition. So
you say you're more into the DL side, and you have a little bit of an AB side. Are you also like into the caregiver role, or is it strictly more?
I was.
Okay, go ahead.
I was a switch. The only person I ever told was my ex-girlfriend about this side of me. And then she came on board full throttle. Like, it was unbelievable.
What?
Yeah, like I couldn't believe it. So anyways, we were together for about a year, and I listened to your podcasts and got the courage, after a while to finally talk to her about it and kind of hinted at it a little bit and this and that. And then finally she just figured it out.
What?
And yeah, she just
you must have been dropping some good hints.
I was dropping some hints, yeah. And she figured it out, and she said that one of her girlfriend's boyfriends was into it, and like a long time ago, and whatever. So anyway, so she hopped right on board. So next thing I know, I showed her Tumblr. She made a Tumblr account. She listened to your podcasts. I showed her pictures of you and stuff like that, and she just got on board. Like I said, full throttle. She went out and bought some pull-ups, got a pacifier, and she sent me all these pictures, like the girls pose on Tumblr and all that, and she sent them to me constantly, and it was just like, wow, this is incredible. And we worked far apart, and it was like a month till I actually saw her, and then she just dove right in. It was unbelievable.
It sounds like she really started to like it herself, or was she just trying to please you?
No, she liked it herself, and then what happened, I was, her daddy. I was the DDLG, and so she was little 75% of the time, and I was little 25% of the time, and the odd time we were little together.
Wow, that's great. So she considered herself a switch as well then?
Yeah, she was a switch, but mainly liked to be little. She liked playing that role more. I think she got more out of it. But
well, I have so many questions. First up, what kind of hints were you dropping? Because it seemed like whatever you were doing, it worked.
Yeah, it sort of worked. She had a little nephew that she'd babysit, and she'd have to put him to bed and change him and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe you should put me to bed and put a diaper on me and stuff like that. Just kind of joking around, ha 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 ha, and just one thing led to another, and then finally I just said, I have something that I've never told anybody, and it's taken me a long time to get the courage, and I didn't tell her right away. I waited for 3 or 4 days, and then finally I just told her. And she just went, wow, well, and she said, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And like I said, she just dove right in after I got her on Tumblr, and I showed her the good things about this, not the bad things.
Yeah, the cute things, right?
The cute things, right? The very cute things. And then she was totally on board with it. And like I said, it blew my mind. I didn't think it could go that easy.
Yeah.
Because after spending a lifetime, we'll say, to keeping it a secret, never telling anybody, so scared of somebody finding out, right? To telling somebody for the first time and her being okay with it. It was astronomical.
That's a dream come true right there for most of us.
Yeah, no, I know. It was so great.
Now, you said you were dropping hints, but were there any signs that you noticed that she could potentially be into this, or were you like, it could go either way? I have no idea.
It could go either way. I know she was very open-minded, and she just wanted to make me happy. And that made me happy, and eventually it made her really happy. And like I said, she was a little all the time, and I was the big mainly. But it was good because I kind of liked, after seeing that kind of stuff on Tumblr and stuff, I was basically going that way. I pictured myself that way and being I like being a switch. So
yeah, me too. I'm all about that switch life.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So when you say she went like full throttle, I hear a lot of times some people, that doesn't always work out. Maybe if your partner's more resistant, like some people have this issue where they feel like they come on too strong at first, but it seems like you didn't have that problem.
I did not have that problem at all. Like, she was just right into it, and she'd always want me to send her pictures and stuff. And she just, like, when we were far apart, I couldn't believe it. It was like a dream come true for us, you know. I was totally blown away by it, and I couldn't understand how she got into it so fast. But she cared about me and she wanted to make me happy, and then she just dove right in from being totally vanilla about the whole thing, you know.
That's amazing.
She knew a little bit about it, but not to the extent of where it's at now.
Yeah. So even though it was your first time opening up to someone, and I'm sure you were really, really nervous, do you feel like you came off like you were nervous, or did you handle it kind of more confidently?
I think I handled it more confidently. I was just me with her. There was no being scared. There was no uneasiness. It was just, I laid it all on the line. I said, I've been this way forever. I don't know why I'm that way, but I just am, and this makes me happy.
Wow,
And,
that's great.
She was okay.
So you had girlfriends before this, or was she your first relationship?
Oh, I've had lots of girlfriends in the past, but I would never, ever open up about it until you gave me the confidence to do so. And thanks to you, and I know a lot of people thank you all the time. You do a lot of great for us kinds of people. So
that really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. So it sounds like, you mentioned before that this is a very private thing for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever met up with anyone, in person within the ABDL community now that you're, no, never?
No, I never have. I honestly thought I was the only person, like a lot of us, and like with the internet and Tumblr and say AB Dreams and Adult Baby Source and companies like AB Universe, all that stuff that's come about. Before that, I thought I was the only person, and I was very ashamed of myself. And like I said, I would just turn it off for months at a time, and then it would just kind of come back, slowly come back, and then it would be full on again, and then I'd turn it off again just because I didn't think there was anybody else like me out there. And I was so thankful to find that there are lots of people like us.
Lots of them.
Into this kink. And I didn't even know it was a kink or a fetish or anything like that. It's just, I thought there was something seriously wrong with me.
I think that we can all relate to that too. And thank goodness for being alive during the time of the internet, because I can't imagine growing up, before you even could find this information out. It must have been nearly impossible to talk to someone about with no...
Oh, for sure.
No, you couldn't just point and say, hey, look, other normal people are doing this too. Other cute people are doing this, and there's nothing wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with me,
Exactly. And I mean, I have a lot of friends worldwide. I do a lot of normal things. I'm kind of an adventure guy, outdoors guy. So having that little secret and having that found out was the biggest fear of mine. So I kept it hidden. So hidden that it was it was hard to open up to my ex-girlfriend, but yet it was easy after hearing your advice and listening to your podcast. So
wow, that's great. So wait, did you feel like you could really trust her? I mean, you said you'd been together for about a year?
A year, yeah. And then in total, we were together 4.5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, and I trusted her. And like I said, I told her, what I'm about to tell you, I've never told anybody in my entire life. I've never shared this with anyone. And I just, like I said, I threw all the cards on the table, and that's how they laid, and she just dived right in.
So how long were you contemplating opening up?
It was about a year. It was a year.
The whole time, from day one.
Yeah, from day one, yeah.
So it was a long time coming. I think you really worked your way up to that, and you made sure. It sounded like you guys were together for 4.5 years. You probably thought at one point, like, you were the one for each other, and you were in love. And I think that's what needs to happen in order for you to feel like, I can trust this person not to take this information and use it against me.
Exactly.
I have some people who are like, oh, I feel like a phony if I go on the first date and I don't tell them, everything I'm into. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That's just going to scare them away,
Exactly.
You got to wait a little bit and work your way up.
And like with the internet too, you see all the negative sides of this, and basically the media blows it out of the proportion and, all that kind of stuff. So like I said, I like the cute stuff. I mean, I liked the stuff that you post, and there's a few others out there that post a lot of really nice stuff, And then there's the other side of it, the bad side. And that's with everything, though.
Are you talking about, when you say the bad side, are you talking about, reality TV shows and how they portray it? Like exactly, Mind Strange, Addiction, Jerry Springer,
exactly.
All the fantastic shows that portray this kink.
Yeah, the great ones. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, before I was on the internet, that was the first exposure I had to seeing other people, quote unquote, like me, was on Jerry Springer. And, my grandma turned to me and she was just like, oh God, can you believe that? How disturbed are these people? And I was just like dying inside.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Wow, for sure.
Yeah. So do you have any advice for, it's for people who are thinking about opening up?
Well, I mean, if it makes you happy, you have to, right? Especially if you love that person and your soulmates, you need to open up so they know all of you, right? I mean, when you love somebody, you take the good with the bad, right?
That's so true. Yeah.
And you have to love all of them. I mean, nobody's perfect. And our thing is kind of, it's an innocent thing that sometimes perceived in a bad way, but it doesn't hurt anybody. And it makes you happy. Why take it away,
Exactly. I mean, no partner you have is going to be perfect for you or have the exact same interest, but that's part of being in love, is loving not only the good, but also the not so good. Yeah, the bad. I don't want to call it bad, but most people would be like, yeah, I'd prefer if you didn't like diapers. That would be cool. But
for sure,
it's a non-negotiable for us. I mean, I'm sure some of us would pick to have something else, but when you do find that person who loves every aspect of you, it's really special. And, it just, it doesn't compare to anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, it's so rewarding to be able to open up and have somebody understand you and accept it, because in this day and age, everybody, it's tough with the bullying and all that stuff. It's tough being accepted for something that is sort of taboo and not very many people, vanilla people, know anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perceived in a lot of bad ways, but it really shouldn't be. I mean, like, the community itself is great. Like, I've met a lot of people, such as yourself and a few other people online, that are wonderful people. We're just normal people. We happen to like a certain thing. That's what brings us together.
Yeah, and I think that as time goes on, I'm noticing that more and more people seem to be, coming out of hiding. They're not being lurkers anymore on social media. They're getting confidence to kind of, start posting and being active. And I feel like the more that happens and the more people kind of like come out a little bit and they're not so shy about it, it helps. That little bit helps to kind of normalize it and make everyone else feel less alone.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Leif, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really had a great time getting to talk to you, and thank you for sharing your experience.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. I'll talk to you soon.
You betcha.
All right. Bye.
Bye.